Good morning. This is December 17, 2024. Today is Tuesday. It's 11 a.m. in the morning, US Eastern Time. I hope I don't sneeze again. I had to stop the video and start again because I kept sneezing. Anyway, so today I wanted to keep talking about the focus and here and there I mention about focus, how in our life things will always keep happening, but what we feel is where we focus on. We have many thoughts going around in our mind constantly, and the dominating thought is what stays at the top. That's why they're dominating thought, and we take action based on that. We speak about things based on that, and then it goes in cycles. So focus, I'm trying to train my brain more and more to focus on what's working in life rather than what's not. When you try to look for what's not working, there'll be plenty of those. At the same time, if we look at what's working, there'll be plenty of those. And I have my notepads here. Not notepads, I don't know why I keep saying notepads, but the post-it. So, if I were to use an example, so let's say these are what's working, these are what's not working. If you start writing, even if you use post-it or notepad, there will be plenty of them in either, because a lot of them, it happens and we forget. And our mind tends to, unfortunately, go to the things that is not working. So we have to constantly keep training our mind to go to the things that is working. Because there's a lot of things, if we have a roof over our head, if we have constant supply of food and water, because a lot of people in the world, they don't have that. We have safety and security, so many things like that. So anyways, whatever we focus on, that grows, that magnifies. So that's what I'm trying to train myself, and I think I'm talking more about it because I was texting with a friend this morning, and this is some of it what I was writing. So it stayed in my head. Apart from that, so this power statement that I kind of randomly thought about during yesterday's morning journaling, if you saw that, I talked about, I know the sentence, I didn't form it that well when it came to my mind, but then I kind of came up with some that flowed better. It's like I accept this moment just the way it is. I accept this moment just the way it is. 8 words, very powerful. And believe it or not, I have been I have a funny example that when I go to the bathroom, I even use that. I'm like, at this moment, I accept that moment just the way it is, meaning if I am doing my business in the bathroom, I'm, right at that minute, I don't have to make my coffee. At that moment, I don't have to apply for a job. At that moment, if I'm pooping, I'm just pooping. That's what the universe had for me. It's a really funny example, but that I figured it grounds you to that moment so quickly, so easily. Like they say, focus on your breathing. Focus on your breathing. We breathe about 22,000 times, in 24 hours period. And if you try that experiment, try it, because I have tried it several times. When you try to focus on the breathing, 15, 20, our mind wanders. And I have tried several times. I couldn't get to even 100 because our mind is so, like, our mind focus. it's almost like squirrel will go in this point to that point. It's hard to focus on breathing, and I don't know why that is. Buddhist monks are really good at it. But I think as we keep trying, we will find our, I don't know, it's a special formula that works for us, and sometime it'll change. It may change for me also. 6 months down the line, I might come up with something else. And I still do a lot of the other things, the intention setting, gratitude, and all that. Like how you can simplify is what makes it easier to follow. Because when something is very simple, either if it's at work, at home, or something, when something is very simple, we tend to follow it more than something that is complicated. So that was my goal. And then this sentence, I accept this moment just the way it is. I accept this moment just the way it is. It's really working. And I saw one of you on the one of the video when I made the short video. You commented, and it resonated with you too. And thank you very much for sharing that. That makes a difference. Trust me, it makes a difference. It helps me to feel that things that I share in some way, shape, or form resonates with you. That's because that's my little way of, I feel like, contributing to the world, because every little bit is like, even if it's a drop in the ocean is filled with many drops of water. So anyway, so thank you for that. So yeah, it just grounds you, right? Like a lot of the worry or sadness or anger or whatever in our life comes from like not accepting the things the way they are, right? Many things we can change, and we try to change. We don't accept the way they are. And interestingly enough, the way a lot of this works is when we accept it. And I think the word accept kind of goes with the patience and many things that you would see in your life too. When you start accepting and add a little bit of patience to it over time, things actually turn the way we want it to. But when we don't accept and we just try to change that instantly, and some of it, it's not our fault. All of it comes from how we lived our life until now, because we have done something in a certain way, so we have in our mind how certain things are supposed to work. But in this world, we are not just living by ourselves. There are people surrounding us, and everybody has their own way of doing things. Nobody's going to do it just the way I want to, at work, at home, or with friends, right? Everybody has their own way of doing it. And when we accept it, then there is less friction. Anyway, so yeah, with acceptance, our patience grows. And that's something I actually didn't think before. It just kind of came to my mind as I was talking about it, which is a good thing, because that is also something I'm trying to teach myself, that growing patience, and they kind of go hand in hand. More we accept, our patience grows, and more patience grows, more we can accept things, the things that we can't change. Yeah, it's all about accepting and focusing and knowing that life is not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect, and it's not supposed to be life if it is all perfect, because then we'll be like living like a robot. We are humans. We're supposed to have emotions, but as long as we don't keep dwelling on the challenging emotions or in the valleys, it's better. More and more we can reduce the valley time, means we are able to grow, right? Tony Robbins talks about valley and peak. Life will always have the valleys and peaks. More we are able to transform our minds, more we'll be able to pull ourselves to the peak or closer to the peak. And it happens with more and more practice and more as we try, and we surround ourselves with those type of people, because Jim Rohn, who Tony Robbins learned it from, you are the blend of 5 people who you spend most of your time with. So, time to time you got to ask who those 5 people are for you. Who are you spending most of your time with? And one of the things I learned recently, which deeply resonates with me, is sometimes those 5 people don't have to be the people you meet on a day-to-day basis, because the reason is they can be, but say that those 5 people you're around with are people who you are not learning something, that the areas you want to grow, then it could be somebody online, meaning, let's say that if it's Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Simon Sinek, all those self-help people, and there could be others, or if you believe in God, where your mind is focused. I wouldn't say like who you spend most of your time with. I would rather say who the ideas and thoughts, everybody has different ideas and thoughts. Where your mind is mostly focused on is who you become. So if you have 5 different people, somebody is super successful in business, somebody is super successful in, their peaceful living, and somebody who's super successful in business may or may not be as peaceful, may or may not be living as peaceful life. Depends. Some people are and some are not. And somebody else, they might not be as successful when it comes to profession, career, but in their mind they are, and what they're doing in life, they're enjoying to their core. They're living a peaceful life, and that could be some, and there could be others, right? So depending on how they are, and most of the cases, those 5 people, at least 1 or 2 will be your family, because family is close to you or spending time with, and your boss has a huge influence. And usually if you're working for somebody, that person, a boss, I mean, the reason I say working for somebody, if you're working for yourself, even if you have a business, you have shareholders and things like that, but if you have one boss who you have to answer to, that person normally is part of that 5. So they have a huge influence on your day-to-day living, your peace in life, and etc. So if you end up finishing those 3, you basically have 1 or 2 to choose from. Who are they? It could be your best friend, it could be somebody you follow closely. Like if you think of, you experiment, let's say if Tony Robbins is somebody who you resonate with. For me, I do, so I time to time I listen to Tony Robbins video a lot. If you watch his videos every single day for 6 months, he is guaranteed to be one of the top 5 people, because there will be dominating thought. You'll be influenced by that, because then it becomes a habit, the way he thinks, the way he talks about looking at life and stuff like that. So that's a good thing, because even though we may not have control over 2 or 3 in that group of 5, we still have control over 1 or 2 who we choose, who we want to be like. And Tony says that we like people who are like us, or who we want to be like. So it's important to remember, are we in touch with people? Like, it goes with having a mentor. Do we have a mentor in our life who we want to be like? Because I remember I gave a speech at Toastmasters many years ago. I don't know, 6-7 years ago. Maybe because there's many speeches I gave, so I forgot exactly when that speech was. But anyway, the point was that I said that mentors are like GPS. And I say it because, um, and I used that example in that speech, and I remember it was a real story. So it was back in 2007, I think. Several friends of us, like four or five friends, and me, we went to Niagara Falls. And I remember from Buffalo, New York to Canada side, we went on the Canada side to Toronto. And from where it was to the Toronto downtown, it's only like 30-40 minutes drive. So when we went during the daytime, it was quick because at that time GPS was new. So we did not have GPS. We just followed the map. It seems like so old age now. If we think about it, it's only like 14, 17 years ago I'm talking about. Anyway, so 30-40 minutes, we spent 3-4 hours there, went to different places, and then by the time we were coming home, I mean home meaning my friend's place, it was dark. And we kept missing the exits or whatnot. That 30-40 minutes ride took us 3 hours, and we had to stop at the gas station, ask which way to go because we missed the exit. We didn't have GPS, so we were following the map, and it was really hard to drive in a new place. And I was not driving. A friend of mine who was a better driver was driving because at that time I was a new driver. I had driven only a couple of years, so I didn't have that confidence. So anyway, um, 3 hours. The 30 minute took 3 hours. So that's why I say mentors are like GPS, because if we had a GPS, that destination would take us normally how it's supposed to be 30 minutes drive. It would have taken 30 minutes. But we ended up wasting about 3 hours on the road. And 3 hours is not a big deal, but imagine that could be in our life. If we are experimenting, doing trial and error without a mentor to reach to a destination, normally if it's a year, that year could turn to 5 years, to 10 years, to 20 years, right? Because we are doing trial and error and learning. Sometimes some trial and error would give us results in a year. Sometimes the trial and error can take us to a path that is just taking us further away from the destination, right? So that is something to think about, that working with a mentor who you want to be like is really, really, really important. And I have learned that in my recent years. I was working with a mentor. Unfortunately, I don't have anyone right now, but I have to figure it out. And sometimes it's like you can have multiple mentors because you learn different things from different people. Because when we want to grow, a lot of time it happens that we don't want to grow like only that one person, because we all are our own different versions, and we want to learn this quality from this person, this quality from this person, and it's how we absorb things from different people, and then we become the best version of ourselves. So that's very important, because without a mentor, it's almost like even though we may have a destination, we just wander around to that destination to how to get there. Because there's a saying that I forgot who said it, very popular saying, what got you here is not going to get you there. Meaning, so I talk about this a lot, like going from point A to point B. So the rules and formulas that me, myself, and others who are watching this video, from here to here to get successful or whatever, the formulas and things that you used, we have some basic formula like a learning style and all of that we can use from going from point B to point C. However, we need to learn more, we need to do more, we have to grow to become that version. Right, I use that example with a pen that, in the beginning I saw this as a pen that only can write, and now I can see the pen which can write stories that can inspire people to live a better version of their life. Also, like this pen could be something in point C that can, people who are philanthropists, that can write a check of $1 million to help people who are, poor people who are struggling in different parts of the world. But it's the same pen. How different people are using, how it can be used, right, for to do that. So it's just a perspective. It's just a perspective, and how we look at things, how we look at life. But the point is, what got us here is not going to get us there. So we gotta work on ourselves, and only person we can change is ourselves. Because a lot of time, the challenges and worries and whatnot, it comes from not only we try to control the things that are uncontrollable, we also want people to understand us. And people only see a version of ourselves, just a little bit portion of ourselves that they see us when they talk to us. They, it's like an iceberg. They see the top. Iceberg is what, 10% stays on the top and 90% is at the bottom of the ocean. So 90% of it, many people won't even know about us, what we went through in our life, the path, because nobody knows the exact things and the struggles and whatnot we had to go through, especially in my life where I came from, a small town in India, and then we moved to a bigger city, and then I went to a big city in India to do my engineering. Then I came to the US, and mid next year will be 20 years I'm here. So life has been, a lot of different experiences, and I accept all those experiences. It taught me so much, good and challenging, made me strong, resilient, whatnot. So if I try to push for people to understand that, it's just going to increase my stress. Nobody, no second person in the world are going to see the things the way I see, because all of the glasses that we wear, that has different shades. So I'm listening to a book where the person talks about how men and women, we could be a little different, because women have pink glasses. They look at everything with the pink glasses. He uses it in a very good way. It sounds funny, but he uses it in a good way. And men usually tends to look at it with the blue glasses. So since I'm listening to the book lately, that's why the glass analogy comes to my mind, is that all of us, and this is also, I think, an interesting thing. I'm going to write that down to make a short. Different shades of glass, right? And these things help me too, and hopefully it helps others. So I try to capture those things in the shorts. All of us, based on our experiences in life, the shades of the glasses that we look things through, or we hear it, it's different. The same words could mean different to different people, and we know that already. That that's why, in a way, the self-help industry is so many people, so many popular people, they're saying the same message, but we all are connecting with different people, is because different things are resonating with us, even though the message is same. How somebody's saying it, what they're saying, is resonating differently with us. And I literally feel there is as many shades of glasses as many people there are in the world, because everybody has a unique look at the world based on the way they're raised, based on the way they look at things, based on the path they have followed until now. And this channel, Midlife, this morning, I saw an interesting quote. I may not say it exactly. So Carl Jung is super popular. Carl Jung said that life really begins at 40. And until then, everything that we do is just a research. It kind of resonated with me because I'm in my 40s. This channel is Midlife. I'm writing that down because I might make it short with that too. Anyway. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm sneezing. In midlife, as much as, we have challenges and things like that, people go through that midlife crisis. At the same time, it's a second chance in life, because all the things that we have learned until now, we can look back and see what worked, what didn't work. Our profession, our home life, our work life, and what really makes us happy. And this is a time we realize that life is not forever. We know that in 20s and 30s too, but it's different. The feeling is different. If you are in this range, I think, what do they say, 35 to 65 is kind of like a midlife, but of course it could be before or after. You know what I'm talking about, like the feelings and emotions at this stage of our life is very different, because we really know what makes us happy, and we really know that this is not for me, and then it's easier to pass along the things that we're like, no, that's, I don't know, like it's a little weird way of saying, but this is a waste of time, I don't want to do that, I don't want to keep doing this, because I know that just brings more stress, and I know there's a better way to do it, because I tried this 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know if I keep doing 1, 2, and 4, it's just going to increase my stress, so I'm going to do number 3. You know what I'm talking about? Because we have experimented those things, and we won't always be right. We don't know everything, and there might be time when we would learn from a mentor or somebody that, number 3 is not the best way, but this is the best way until this point, because based on our experiments. But there is always a better way, and we have to keep learning. I know some of it is philosophical, but I hope some of it resonates with you too. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful, really, for all of you coming and watching my videos and supporting me with your comments and likes, and it means a lot. It means a lot. Life is life. Sometimes there are highs and lows. I had them too, but by doing this and by doing other practices, I am able to dwell less in the valleys and dwell more on the peaks, or at least closer to peak, or at least neutral. And that's the power of consistency, I think, right? So when we keep doing something consistent basis, and this actually surprised me. When I started this channel back in May 27th of this year, I did not know how it will help me. I knew that some of it will, but it helped me so much more than I can explain in words. So yeah, the power of consistency is amazing. And I'll bring up this Dan Martell. I have been following his channel a little bit on YouTube. He talks about people overestimate what they can do in a year, 1 year, but people underestimate what they can do in 3 years. So I'll say it in a little simpler way. In the first year, people may think that they can do 10 things, they can accomplish 10 things. But then what happens is maybe they accomplished only 5 and they get discouraged and then they give up. But if they keep going with that 5 things they have accomplished in that 1 year, by the year 3, they may be able to accomplish 50 things or 100 things, because it grows exponentially, because And when I say accomplish, it's not necessarily money. It could be money, but either it's feeling peaceful, feeling better, or whatever that goal that you're thinking. This, for myself also, I'm saying it, and maybe that's another short I should write. I don't know. 1 year, you know, the things that I learned in this past year, to learn to more accept things, to learn to have a little more patience, to learn to do the things that really makes me happy, and not to really worry too much about what other people are thinking, or because people don't really think. We think they think about us, but they have so much other stuff that they don't. So, I worked on myself a lot. I want to keep working in the next 3 years. I'm excited to see how that unfolds. Um, and that also gives me more to look for. It's 2024, December. Christmas is coming. Now, by next Christmas will be year 2. By the year after, 2026 Christmas, will be year 3. So I'm excited to see in 3 years, from 1 year to 3 years from where I go. Yeah. And yeah, enjoy the holidays. There'll be always stress, there'll be always things in life, but what we focus on magnifies. So let's keep focusing on the good that is going on in life, because if you look at, there'll always be something, even in one thing you can find that is going good in your life, and keep focusing on that. Okay, bye. Thank you again. You guys mean a lot to me. Take care. Thank you. Bye.